I'd like to share with you a toy that I made out of, actually it was out of just a lot of toy parts I had around, and Zorba just loved it. He engaged with that toy for a long time. So I thought I'd recreate it here. And the idea I got for it was I had a bunch of toys that I was taking apart, and I'd thrown all the parts in a box, and I just took some of these parts and tossed them together, and it turned out pretty good. So I've already got my rope here. It's I put a double knot in the top, hanging loop, and I've got two strands that I'm going to work with. And I put masking tape on the end. You want to do that so that it's easier to string parts on. And I'm going to start by, the first thing I did was take a large plastic wheel. And now, because I'm using my own hemp rope and it's a little, it doesn't make a big knot, so I'm going to put a small plastic wheel on there so that I can tie the knot and it'll stay put. And the two combined are great. Plus it gives some extra texture for the bird to play with. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I just put a chunk of wood on here. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the large wheel and the small wheel, and tie my knot, fasten that together, give Zorba some wood to play with when he's finished foraging. And I'm going to put a large pod cup. And I'm not going to put that on there too tight. And inside the pod cup, before I tighten it up, I'm going to put some crinkle shred. And then I'm going to put an almond and kind of tuck that down in the crinkle shred and let that crinkle shred peek out. Then I'm going to put the pod cup, center it around that. You might need to rearrange your crinkle shred so that it kind of centers. Then I'm going to put another large wheel on there. And then what I want to do now is I'm going to put, I call these wooden nickels. They're the small thin wooden discs. And then I'm going to tie that, but I'm not going to tie it real tight because I want some play in there so that Zorba can get in there and chew and forage through the paper and get what is treat out of the pod cup. Then he likes to pop these wooden beads. This is a 5/8 inch wooden bead. So I'm going to put 3 of them on here. And to make it a foraging experience for him that's not involved with added food, I'm going to put this, it's 1.5 inch by 1 inch bagel tube up there. And you see that, how that's going to work? That's going to hide those beads. So he's going to want to get in there after he forages the treat out. He'll get in there and play with that so that he can get to those beads and he can pop those beads, and he'll chew that cardboard to get to them. Then I'm going to tie a knot to secure that there. Not so tight that I don't have some play in there so he can see that there's some beads in there. Then I'm going to put another bead for fun and a 1 3/4 inch fatty bagel. Then I'm going to finish it off with a large plastic wheel and the small wheel so that I can tie my knot. And I'm going to just tie a double knot in here to make it secure. I've got lots of string. And then I'm going to cut that side off. Now that's one side of the toy. So now for the other side of the toy, I kind of want my next pod cup to hang a little bit smaller. So I'm going to lower on the string so they kind of bounce against each other. So I'm going to tie a knot right here, and you'll see why I did that. So then I'm going to go in reverse. I'm going to put my small wheel here, so see how that stops that? And then that's going to be the lid for my large pod cup, my second one. I'm going to go ahead and stuff it with some crinkle shred, and I'm going to put 1/2 of a walnut in here. Stuff it with some more. Now I'm going to put that on there so that lid has some play. Then I'm going to put another large wheel and then tighten that up with this small wheel, and then I'm going to just tie my knot so that that kind of secures that together. Then to end that, I'm going to put another 5/8 inch wooden bead, 1 3/4 inch fatty bagel, And then I'm going to add some finger traps. And what I usually do with my finger traps, I'll sit there at night and punch holes in them and then just have them ready to put on toys. I might punch holes in several, keep them in a small bag. So those are the finger traps. Then what I'm going to do is put on another large wheel and a small wheel. And I'm going to cinch that tight so that I tighten these finger traps up against that bead and bagel. And tie my knot. There you have it. I'm done. Cut that off. And there is, put a little bumpy link in there. And see the toy that you've got? Now you've got, it bangs against it. There's wood to chew. You can forage this out. There's something interesting in here to get beads. And there's a cardboard tube to chew, a fatty bagel to chew. And then here there's another treat. And it's going to be a fun toy. And you'll watch how great a toy this is here in the video I'm going to share with you.